Hello, everybody. This is the Real Poker Girls of Las Vegas podcast, and we want to welcome everyone. We are, I'm going to go to my left over here. We got Rebecca Scales and Tatiana Fox and myself, Lupe Soto. But we're so excited because today we have one of our rock stars in Las Vegas, Mr. Tommy LaRosa, who is, and if I've got this right, you are the Director of Poker Operations?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yay, I got it right.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. The Venetian, if anybody is hiding under a rock, is the premier room in Las Vegas. And they have recently undergone some major changes that we're going to learn about today. But before we even get into all about the Venetian, I don't know if everybody knows who you are and how you got here. So I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about your journey and what brought you to this place here in Las Vegas.
Well, thank you, Lupe. I've been in Vegas since 1985. My dad, I grew up in LA, Southern California, so I'm a Dodger fan at heart as well, and Laker fan at heart. But my parents got moved with work and lived out here since 85, so I've grown up here. I was 9 years old when we came, and just always loved the energy of this town and just everything this town brings, from the shows to the restaurants to just the energy. The fight weekends, the sports weekends, just they're amazing, right? So I've always been drawn to this town, and started at the Venetian in 1999. So I'm actually on my 25th year.
Holy crap!
And
that's a long time.
You're not that old.
had the chance to transfer into the poker room when we first opened in 2006 under Kathy Raymond, and just tried to soak up everything I could about the industry at that time, right? And it's brought me to where I am today. So I've just been very fortunate, had a great path that I was able to navigate, and been very fortunate to work for the Venetian and the company. So
you're telling me that your entire poker career has been at the Venetian?
Yeah, since 2006, wow. Right? Which is good and bad, right? Because I only know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know, right? So I haven't been to the East Coast. I haven't been to the South. I haven't been, obviously I've been to those rooms to say hi and check them out, but, I've only known Vegas and the Vegas poker world. But I have a lot of good counterparts in Vegas that we've had a chance to sit down with and pick their brains and talk. And I'm very fortunate to have those relationships because that helps you grow as well, right? So yeah, that's been my journey. Very excited.
Well, one of the things you mentioned was that you learned from Kathy Raymond. And Kathy Raymond, who is a Women in Poker Hall of Famer.
Yep.
For a good reason. She had one of the largest rooms out at Foxwoods. And that was like one of the biggest rooms in the world. So I think you had a really good teacher.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Kathy set up the room for success in the beginning, right? And, I tried to soak up as much as I could. I was just, a dealer breaking into the industry at that time. But, obviously Kathy allowed us to grow and to do the things that we did and to become the people that we are today, right? So definitely my journey wouldn't be where I am today without her in that, right? And so I'm very appreciative of her and everything that she did not only for me, but for the Venetian Poker Room to get us off the ground and get us on the map, right? So yeah, it's been a great journey for sure.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I love how you said Vegas gives you so much energy, because that's how I feel every time I come here. Like, I just feel it's just something about this city, and those that know. I mean, you can come here and just be anything you want to be or have a go at anything you want to do. It's just incredible. Like, I love the United States, but the energy in this town is unmatched.
Yeah, the sporting weekends or the big weekends here, the UFC weekends, the big, it's amazing. You can feel it. It's thick, right? And there's such an energy like on the casino floor. And it's just, if that doesn't get you pumped up or, excited to be a part of this town, I really don't know what is. Every time I leave Vegas, I honestly can't wait to get back.
I say that all the time. I travel all the time. I'm never sad about coming home. Never sad at Loudon McCarran when it says welcome to Vegas, ever.
Yeah, there's just a feeling when you're on that plane coming down and you see all the lights, and it's still amazing, right, to this day.
Or when you're driving back on that extremely boring road from Southern California to here, and you just make that little turn and you see the valley and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing
I'm
like
home.
I agree.
sure.
Agree.
So you started as a dealer. You came in, so you know every position basically in that room.
Yeah. So when we first opened, the room wasn't like gangbusters from the jump, right? We were kind of slow, right? So I took the opportunity to learn every position. I was a dealer, but we would come in the early days and we would literally deal one down, right? 30 minutes, and there would be no other work. So they would send people home. Well, I would try to stay and I would work the front board and I would, greet guests and I would run chips. And I just tried to learn everything because I was just trying to soak it up. So Kathy gave us that opportunity to stay and help. And there's a few of us that did and most people didn't, right? Most people just wanted to go home. But I tried to learn everything I could. So I've worked the board. I've answered the phones. I've issued the comps. And that I think has helped me on my journey, right? To understand those positions, because if you're trying to make decisions about those team members and about, what they should or should not be doing or how you want to run your business, it's important that you have a feel for what those positions are, right? And so you can empathize and sympathize and know what they're going through and then try to make the best decisions. So I think it's been very important in my journey. And I cherish those days for sure.
That's impressive.
Mm-hmm, it is. If you were to think about what would be like the common myth, everybody says, "Ooh, I'm the director of poker operations and I get to do this and la la la." What's the one thing that people really think that you can do that you can't?
That's a great question. I think the myth is that we're only focused on the business, right, and that we're only making decisions in the best interest of the business. And while, yes, I have a responsibility for the business, I can tell you that most of my time is thought about the team members and about our players, right? Mm-hmm. And how much we worry and how much we, stress over trying to put our team in a good spot and trying to create an environment for our players that they want to come back, right? And so I you hear it all the time that, you don't care or and that hurts because literally that's all we do is care about the team and the players and the people in the room because it's about relationships, right?
It is.
And when you hear that you don't care, it's hard, but they don't understand everything that goes into being a leader and running a room.
Well, the Venetian has undergone an extreme transformation. I have to applaud you because to get a corporate structure to embrace poker as a significant part of their overall business is almost unheard of. People who are fortunate enough to be a standalone poker room, that's all they're about, right? Is poker. But to be in a casino environment and to get them to that place, can you walk us through how that happened?
Yeah, I can tell you, trying to get to the Palazzo has been a vision of mine since about 2014. I tried to push us moving over there every chance I get. In fact, there was probably 3 attempts before this where we, really tried to lay out a plan to get over there, and it just never seemed to work. Apollo came in, and Apollo has embraced everything about the building, and they've been unbelievably good to not only us, but to our guests, right? And so when we pitched the plan to Apollo was on board. Like they saw the vision and what we were trying to do. And I can't thank Apollo enough. They've been so supportive. They've been open to all of my ideas. And they want to provide a place that is like the poker player's home, which I think we've tried to do and I think we've done. They put not only like the support, but they put the money behind it, the backing behind it, the resources behind it. They put so much into it, which nobody can really understand what really goes into building a new room. It's been amazing. And Apollo has been amazing. And if you look around property, it's not only the poker room, like they're doing some really, really amazing stuff on property where they're just with restaurants and redesigning sports books and salons. It's just Apollo's been really, really good to the property.
And Apollo is a company, a person? Who's Apollo?
Apollo is an investment group. Right?
There you go.
Yeah, right?
It's like Apollo.
Apollo is an investment group that obviously that has come in, and like I said, they've been so good to the team members and so good to us in every way, and then I think it's a reflection, right? Because I think our guests can see that when they come in, right? Because they can feel our energy is different. And so if our energy is different, then our guests are going to feel that too.
Yeah.
I think it's also cool to note, like you said, you're the director of poker, but to pull this project off, I was a dealer as well, to understand casino operations. It's not just the poker department. You've got all the casino departments involved, even though it's the poker room.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you need the support from the beverage team. You need the support from the cage team, from internal maintenance. PAD is what we call them, right? So not only that, but you need facilities. Like there's so many people that are involved in this. It's not just Tommy or it's not just poker, right? It truly takes, the entire property support. And everyone's been so great and supportive of what we're doing, so.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to kind of speak a little bit about my relationship with the Venetian. And I know that one of the things that you guys do, and you do very, very well, is that you actually open your doors to third-party relationships. That is, first of all, it's very hard to get any kind of a poker room to consider working with outside of their own programming and what they're developing. But the Venetian does that very, very, very well. I mean, you have embraced some of the biggest over the years, from, the little tiny LUPE tour, to the World Poker Tour, and the MSPT and just all kinds of things. And I think I'm going to sit here and praise you over the years because you've been a listening ear. You've been willing to try things. What are some of the things that you've tried that hasn't worked out so well?
Well, I'm sure there's a laundry list that poker players will tell you, right? But I think, listen, building those relationships in the industry, I think is very important, right? Not only that, but LUPE has a following that maybe didn't know about the Venetian or maybe never played at the Venetian, right? And we want to welcome those players in and show them what we're all about, right? And hopefully they have a great experience and they want to come back, right? And poker is a small industry, right? And building those relationships is very important to me, right? And so, listen, I've tried a lot of things over the years, and I've been fortunate enough to have people behind me that support that, right? I think in any business, you have to keep trying to push it forward, and you can only do that by taking risks and trying things. And yes, have some of the stuff that we've tried failed? Of course, right? But if we try 10 things and we get 1 or 2 right, we're going to keep pushing the business forward, right? And I've had some dealers that have looked at me funny on some things, and I've had some players that have looked at me funny, and I've had a lot of conversations about those things, and and that's how we learn and grow. But I truly feel the businesses that don't take risk and that don't try things, unfortunately, I think those are the businesses that end up closing, right? And we've seen that. We've seen that in Vegas, right? And so I think it's important to continue to try to push the next thing and to try to just, keep the room vibrant and keep the players engaged and just, the industry is going to change from what it is today,
Right.
So we have to keep pushing.
So the next thing, we know what the next thing is that's happening at the Venetian. You guys are really setting a footprint here in Las Vegas. Can you tell us about what your new plans are?
So I think you're talking about our streaming studio.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that. Once again, I'm going to go back to Apollo. When Apollo asked me what I would want in a new room, the streaming studio was part of it, right? And I had a vision that I laid out of what I thought we should be. And Apollo, they didn't say no. They didn't question. They supported every part of this journey. So this streaming studio is going to go, it's supposed to be completed in January in 2025. And, we want to host podcasts in there, right? Yeah. Just throwing that out there, right? We want to stream Deep Stack Final Tables. We want to stream cash games, right? And so I think the streaming studio, is going to be another exciting, energy-filled thing that we're going to bring to the poker room, right? And I can't wait. We're teaming up with some great ambassadors. Obviously, Jamie Kerstetter is one of our poker ambassadors, which we've been working with her on, a lot of inclusive events for ladies, right? Making them feel welcome in our room. And she's going to be hopefully a big part of that in the streaming studio. And there's another poker ambassador, which I can't talk about now, but we're getting very close to signing that I'm hoping is going to help us build the streaming studio, and just get our message out there that we're trying to get out, right? Because this is a brand new Venetian, and there's a lot of people that haven't seen us yet or don't know about us yet, and I want to make sure we get that word out so everybody comes and checks us out. But I'm unbelievably excited about the streaming studio, and I think it's just going to be another one of those like energy-filled things that we bring to Las Vegas. So
Very cool.
That's very cool. So we're obviously 3 women, and we're very involved with Women's Poker Association, Women's Poker News, Women's Poker Hall of Fame, like all of these things. And right when you opened your room, almost immediately you had a meetup game for women. And we really appreciate you supporting us that way. But like, do you have any future plans, like for ladies tournaments or?
yeah, listen, I'm leaning on Jamie, right? Because once again, I don't know what I don't know, right? And I can think I know what to do, but I want to lean on somebody in the industry, right, who has a pulse on the industry, and that's why I'm leaning on Jamie, right? I want to lean on her creativity to come up with ideas and events that are going to be inclusive and make ladies feel welcomed and want to be a part of what we're doing, right? And then I want to create high energy like events, right? Because if somebody goes to something and they have a great time, they're going to want to come back, right? And if they feel that energy of the poker room, and they have a great experience, then they will come back, right? And so I'm going to lean on Jamie for her expertise and her ideas and her creativity, and then hopefully we're going to mirror, what we do together and just put out some great events. And that's going to be whether it's cash game meetup games, whether it's some tournaments. We've got a lot of things that are floating out there. And I'm excited to work with her. So
that's exciting, and I appreciate that you went and got a woman too, so it can be through a woman's lens and a woman's perspective. Because we do take things in differently, and a lot of times that's the missing link where they don't understand. Like we want men to support us, but at the same time they really don't always understand all the nuances. And so it's great that you went and got Jamie to do that through her lens.
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
And that was actually one of the first things I told her. I said, "Look, I don't want this relationship to be me telling you what we should do." Right? Because I can do that myself, right? I want to lean on your creativity, right? And so I made that very clear from the very beginning that I want her ideas, and I want anything's open. Let's throw it all against the wall and let's see what works, right? So I made that very clear with Jamie, and I'm excited. I'm excited to work with her.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Well, I'm just going to say I've been to the meetup games. And they're
Was it
blast.
fun?
The first one, it was great.
Because one of the other things that a
Jealous.
lot of women play mixed games. I mean, we're 3 mixed game players right here at this table, and so we've been able to bring at least one. We had an Omaha 4-8 game,
Yeah, it's
and this last time that we were there, it was just this last weekend. The rest of the room wanted to know what the hell was going on. They're like, why are you guys all here? Well, we're having our own meetup game. And they were like, you're having an Omaha? This one guy coming back to the table, and we actually had a seat open. And after, it was near the end of our meetup game, and 3 times he came over and asked if he could play. Finally let him sit down.
That's awesome.
Within 10 minutes, we took his $100 buy-in.
You sharks.
It was really great.
Send him to the ATM.
Yes. And you always do really fun little things for us and let us, have prizes and stuff. And I when you did the initial one, there was massages to win and all kinds of great things. And this time we got to go to get dinner together. That was really fun. We probably broke your bank. I'm really sorry about that, but no, I'm not. But we were able to get away from the table too and have an experience where we could all talk and learn about each other that you really don't do during the game. So that was really, really special. I just want you to know.
And that's one thing I had talked to Jamie about, right? I didn't want to make it all about poker, right? I wanted to have these experiences, right? And so, whether that was going to dinner, whether that was maybe going to a show, maybe that was going on a gondola, whatever it was on property, I wanted it to be an experience, right? So when ladies come in the room, right, and they have a great poker experience and they walk around property and they have a great experience wherever it is at dinner, right, they just have that feeling, right? And then they want to come back and be a part of what we're doing. So, yeah, I made that very clear with Jamie. I'm excited that you guys all went to dinner. It seemed like everybody had a good time. I think the bill was a little high. So,
well, I told her, I said, did you set a limit? Did you say, hey, you've got $50 to spend or what? And she goes, I don't think so. I was like, okay. So people are going to know that.
That's hilarious.
It was crazy.
So
But
Tommy,
it was a lot of fun.
you're a well-respected businessman around town and, a staple in the poker industry. What's something you've learned that you can share for everybody to know? Like a lesson, life advice?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? And once again, it's probably all goes back to the relationships, right? You know, the relationships that I have not only with my team, but with the players. Like there's still players that I talk to and say hi to from when I was a dealer in 2006. And when they come in, they even say, I remember when you used to deal, right?
Wow.
And, you know, we still talk about, you know, whether it's their favorite sports team or whether it's where they're from or, you know, we still talk about those things, right? And so relationships at the end of the day is the most important thing. The business side, yes, obviously it's very important and I have a job to do, right? But it's without those relationships that I've learned over the years to grow and cultivate. You know, obviously I wouldn't be in the position I'm in without some of the relationships I had prior. So to me, that's probably, you know, the most important thing, you know, at the end of the day.
Cool.
The math and the P&L and all that stuff, you know, anybody can do that per se, you know, so.
We agree with that. We talk about that all the time, that the relationships and the foundations that you build in this town especially are the most important. It's how you get any door open here.
Yeah, for sure.
It is. But I also think that it, you know, I'm giggling only because sometimes I forget that there's eyeballs everywhere, no matter where you go.
Yes.
And, you know, when you get known in your city, in the poker world, I mean, I know I got to watch my P's and Q's 90% of the time. I still have those moments. But, you know, when you're out and about and you're at the airport or you're, you know, shopping somewhere and somebody comes and goes, hey, you know, I saw you at, you know, on this or that or whatever. And is there been one of those kind of moments for you where you've walked into a situation and somebody just knows who you are, but they can't figure out where?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been fortunate when I travel to other rooms, right? And somebody will come up and be like, "Hey, Tommy, you know, I know you from the Venetian, right?" And that's pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool that people recognize you or they want to say hi to you, and you have some time that you can spend to them. You know, maybe not in a suit where you where you can just be one-on-one and just kind of say hi and see how they're doing, right? So those are all cool experiences, you know. And I cherish them. And like I said, the poker community is kind of small, right? Mm-hmm. It may seem big around the country, but at the end of the day, you could probably walk into any poker room around the country and have seen somebody that you've seen somewhere in another poker room or you've played with or you've worked with, or it's been amazing. And the amount of team members that we've had come through the Venetian that are maybe now working at other properties because they've moved and their families moved or whatever, they had greater opportunity somewhere, and then to see those people, right? So it's a very small community, mm-hmm. and yeah, it's pretty cool. It never gets old when somebody recognizes you or wants to say hi or just says what a great room you have or just what a great time they had. So it's pretty cool.
I gotta tell you, you have the best chairs in town.
I was going to say that. I was like, I went to the opening of this room and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's stunning. And the chairs, everything, the patterns. I mean, I'm a woman, so I looked at all the colors and I was like, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, our development team has been amazing, right? The team that put that together and designed everything, the chairs were very important to me. Mm-hmm. We tested some chairs, and I can tell you the chair itself is something I picked out, but all the colors and the fabric, our development team has been awesome, and I can't thank them enough for everything they did because the room is gorgeous. Like it's really clean, it's very modern, and they did an unbelievable job in the aesthetics of putting it all together.
It's stunning.
Your staff. They're amazing. They always greet me when I walk in. Mm-hmm. They're very nice. They know you're there. It's very, I don't know, I find it very welcoming. The room feels very welcoming to me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's been a shot in the arm for them as well, right? A new room, a new environment, right? They feel the energy, right? And yeah, I think they're trying to show you their energy, right, when you guys come in, which is great, right? Which is what we want. And
really nice uniform shirts too.
Yeah, we just got new uniforms, so excited about that. And just everything about the room is just new and clean and modern, and it's great.
Mm-hmm. So you just mentioned when you got your suit off. That's your own personal time. What is it you do with your life in your personal time?
Oh, I love to golf. I go to Myrtle Beach every year. It's my favorite golf capital of the world. But I love sports. I love going to sporting events, football games, basketball games. Obviously, a huge Knights fan. Love going to Knights games. So, yeah, I'm just really a sports person. So I love going to games and I love golfing and that's kind of me.
We learned something about you today.
I did learn something
Yeah, I
special
didn't-
about you today.
Yes.
I didn't know you. Yeah.
And we, Rebecca and I are like crazy baseball fans.
Very
like,
crazy.
yeah. I mean,
She had to
it's-
watch the World Series.
There
And
was
she
a lot
flew
of
in last night.
screaming last night at the house.
And we learned about your past with baseball, and I was just like, now I'm like, okay, I'm not only a Tommy LaRosa fan, but I'm a real Tommy LaRosa.
Right? It makes it so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us about your history that we didn't know about.
Well, yeah, I'm getting a little. Yeah, I mean, it was a lifetime ago. Obviously, a very important part of my life, right? I played baseball growing up. I played at UNLV 94 through 96. And then I was fortunate enough to be drafted by the Minnesota Twins. So I don't talk about that a lot.
Wow.
You know, it's kind of a lifetime ago.
That's huge.
But
It's
you know,
huge.
It's
And you came from
ginormous.
UNLV. That's so cool.
It's
Yeah.
That is a scoop.
I only played in the minor leagues. Wasn't good enough to make it to the big leagues, but played with an unbelievably amount of talented people, and the journeys and the experiences that I got to have along that way were, things that I obviously still remember to this day. So, yeah, a lifetime ago. I don't really talk about it, but a cool moment in my life, and it was fun.
But I think a lot of the skills you use in baseball are also used in poker and in leadership in a funny way. Like you can use, they're kind of the same in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot. In a locker room, you learn a lot on the field, right? You have people from all over the world, right? I played with people from Venezuela and Japan. Like I've played winter ball in Hawaii. I've played baseball in Florida and Indiana, right? So it's like you learn and you meet a lot of people, and you learn a lot about them and where they're from and who they are and what got them to where they were and what made them them. And it's pretty cool, right? And you make bonds with friends that, to this day, right? That you still have, right? Because it's kind of a fraternity. It's a special fraternity. A very small percentage of people get there, right? So, I mean, unbelievable experience. Wish I would have made it. Wish I would have been more talented. But yeah, pretty cool.
You're being very humble.
I
That's
know.
very hard
Yeah.
to do. It's like you said, a very small
Yeah,
percentage.
you get me all flustered here. Yeah.
So if you didn't end up as the fabulous poker director at the Venetian, is that something you think you would have ended up doing, a sporting career?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. It was hard after baseball, because, you're kind of heartbroken and, I did coach for a little bit. But, I don't know. Coaching takes a special skill set too. And just because you play doesn't mean you can necessarily coach or get into it. But no, I think, listen, my journey, I think, was meant to be what it was meant to be. And, I'm here for a reason. So.
We're very happy that you're here. I think that, first of all, being from Las Vegas and having had, I know you're not originally, but still, I mean, you've got a lot of years here and you grew up here, and just having a flavor of what Vegas is and how you bring that to the table is very, very unique and special. So I think that Venetian is getting the benefits of all of that. And we know that as players, we're getting the benefits of all of that. And we really appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Lupe. It means a lot. And, I'm honored that you guys would even have me on your show. And it's awesome to talk about the industry, and it's awesome to talk about me, even though that's kind of tough a little bit. But no, thank you. Thank you for being here and letting me be a part of this. So
It's so exciting. So if you've got the one pearl thing that you want to share with us about where the future is of the Venetian.
yeah, that streaming studio, I think, is going to be really, really big if we can do it the right way. So that's my focus right now, is making sure we do it the right way, because I think it can be a tremendous impact, not only to the Venetian, but to this town, right? I mean, we're the gambling capital of the world, and to have a streaming show in the center of the Strip, and the energy and the excitement that can bring, and then the people that it can bring to Vegas, right? Because listen, I talk about this all the time with my counterparts, right? Anytime that my counterparts are doing something, we all benefit, right? Same with me. When I do something, they benefit, right? The more people we bring to Vegas, right, the better it is for all of us, right? And so I think that streaming studio is going to help bring people to Vegas who want to check it out, want to see what's going on, see who's playing in the room. And at the end of the day, yes, my goal is to have us benefit, but we're all going to benefit. The poker world's going to benefit. The Las Vegas is going to benefit. And then hopefully the Venetian benefits the most, you know?
Of course, of course. We talk about that a lot, though.
Yeah.
We talk about collaboration, and we talk about how, you know, it is very difficult to have McDonald's and Burger King and, you know, Carl's Jr. all lined up. And you have to make choices, you know, but then you have to, at the end of the day, know that we're all consumers, you know, and it is still, if you do something over here that's going to be very, very good for the industry, and then somebody else is going to do something that's really good for the industry, we sometimes want to kick ourselves and say, man, why didn't I think of that first? But overall, it brings us all together, and it makes our product better. It makes people come in. If there's, you know, one of the things that I think that poker rooms need to address, and I think it is bringing the new players in. We are all really good at, you know, the high rollers, and we're really good at making sure that our seasoned players have something to do. But I think that we're missing the boat in our industry with the new players. And I would like to encourage you and all poker rooms and operators to think about that as part of their programming for the year. Because if we don't have an avenue to introduce new players in, we're going to miss the boat again. And limit poker is not played very much here.
Yeah.
It needs to be played here. And the reason it does is because the bankroll stays longer and it gives a player a longer experience in it. Now, I'm not saying that no limit shouldn't be played. I'm just saying that there needs to be that introductory game in all rooms. And there needs to be somebody in your staff or in your room that teaches it and encourages new players to come in and have an experience. They need to have tours in the room. This is where you walk in the door. This is how you get a player's card. This is where you go to sign up for a game. This is where you, you sit and you wait. If you want to sit down, you lock up your seat by doing this. You know, all those little nuances of fresh eyes need to be looked at when we're talking about poker and bringing people in. I say this all the time, and the reason I do that is because we were all once in that position. You know, every single one of us. I mean, now we're just, you know, sophisticated little. Ooh, I'm going to watch my mouth. You know, and we go sit down and we know what we're doing, or we know how to navigate it. But I would like to see, especially with a streaming room, everybody wants to see the pros. Everybody wants to see, you know, all the nuances. But you know how fun it would be to get new people on that thing and where they're just learning, because that would be a fresh eye for people who go, oh my gosh, yes, look at, and then be able to encourage and to cheer on the brand new player. You know, oh yeah, she messed that up. Okay, she didn't know that it was her turn for the blind and all. Those are also very entertaining to watch. So,
well, listen, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, one of the first things that I did try to do when we opened the room is I tried to reach out to limit players to see about welcoming them back into the room and seeing what we could do to get some of those games. The number one thing I hear from like people who don't play is that they're intimidated by poker rooms. Like they say it's scary to walk into a poker room, right? And so my job is to try to break down that barrier, right? To bring them in, to make them feel welcome. So I couldn't agree with, like, I agree with everything you're saying. And how do we break down that wall of intimidation so they'll walk in, right? And feel comfortable, and they know what to do, and they know where, you know, how to sign up for a list, and they know what, you know, where to go and where to get a card. I think it's super important.
Your ambassadors. Get your ambassadors to work.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm serious.
I know it would work because I work at Poker Power, and I teach people that say, I have an A and a Q. So they tell me, like, that's where we're starting from. So I teach the basic you can get in poker in corporate settings all the time. Those people are so excited within that. They get 2 hours with us.
Yeah.
And after that 2 hours, they are so excited. They would, if they had a room right then, they could turn around and play a limit poker game, they would.
Yeah.
Because, but it's just they don't go right afterwards. It's a corporate setting. It's, on their lunch or whatever we did their setting for. But if they were in a room, they want to play.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's part of my vision for the streaming studio too. And while you need to run higher games because those are the games that draw the eyeballs, right? I made it very clear from the beginning. I want to run some low limit games too, right? Where I want to the player who's been in our room for days and weeks and months supporting our room. I want to give them an opportunity to be back there in the streaming studio to play on stream where their family can watch them, right? Or somebody who comes in from wherever, Iowa, Florida, Michigan, and they're here for a weekend and they have an opportunity to play in the streaming studio and then their family can watch them play and just the energy and the stories that'll be for them, right? When they're telling their wife, their husband, their whoever, their son, their daughters, right? That, hey, I'm going to be on a stream in a little bit. You can watch me play, right? I think that's cool. And so, yes, the streaming studio, I want to have all levels, right? I want to have the beginner player. I want to have the seasoned, player. I want to have low limits, high limits, and that's why I think the streaming studio can be special, right? Because I want to be inclusive of everybody and make it experiences where somebody comes here for a weekend, right? They're going to remember that for the rest of their life.
For sure, for sure. I mean, it's just like watching the World Series in baseball and the Little League World Series. I mean, they are both equally as exciting, for different reasons, but they are definitely both fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm really excited about all this. And before we say goodbye to Tommy, is there anything you guys want to share or ask before he leaves us?
Lots of ladies on there too. ladies poker games.
Yeah, for sure. And
it's a different beast. That's for sure.
Lots of talking.
It's definitely something that I think I've talked to Jamie about, right? And I would love her to be a part of that streaming studio, whether it's commentating, whether it's organizing a game, whatever it may be, right? Like I said, I'm going to lean on her. Because that's why I brought her in, right? That's why I partnered with her. It wasn't for Tommy's ideas. I want Jamie's ideas, right? So I'm excited.
Yeah,
very cool.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, Tommy, it's such a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, that this went super fast. But it's been fun. It's been fun talking and honored that you would even consider me to be here and humbling for sure. And you got me a little flustered about my past, but it's cool to talk about. It's a lifetime ago, but awesome memories, and I just thank you for allowing me to relive that a little bit.
I gotta go find a Tommy LaRosa rookie card.
I'm looking for it.
There's a couple out there. I might be going for 75 cents or something, so you never know.
If I find one, I'm bringing it. You're signing it.
That's right. That's right. Well, we appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate everybody for watching. Be on the lookout for the new and exciting things that are going to be happening at the Venetian Poker Room here in Las Vegas. And from all of us at the Real Poker Girls of Las Vegas, we thank you for joining us.